Yep, so pretty much all internet hell erupted when Live Free or Die Hard was rated PG-13 instead of R. Did the same thing again with the Expendables, because the Expendables 3 is PG-13, whereas the first two are R, and everybody's outraged. Just gotta take it for what it's worth. The Expendables 3. So Expendables 3 is the third movie in the Expendables franchise. Apparently now there's going to be a fourth Expendables movie, and Pierce Brosnan is going to be in it. James Bond himself in an Expendables movie. Yeah, you heard me right. So the Expendables 3 brings back the ensemble cast of the first two, like Stallone, Statham, Lee, Lundgren, Cruise, everybody from the first one pretty much, and the second except for Chuck Norris, because, you know, he stole the show in the second one. But he's not in this one, because he was bitching about the R rating of Expendables 2, but yet he's not in the Expendables movie that's rated PG-13. Kinda weird if you ask me. So this Expendables movie focuses on the Expendables trying to take down Conrad Stonebanks, played by Mel Gibson, who used to be an ex-Expendable, but now he's an arms dealer. And we find out he's an arms trader who's selling bombs to major armies of countries all over the world. So Barney Ross says to his Expendables team, he's like, "This guy used to be an expendable. We gotta take him down. That's what Church wants. That's what Trench wants. Let's go. We gotta take him down." When one of them gets fatally or almost brutally, I'll just say brutally injured, Stallone is just like, "You old guys aren't gonna do it. I need a younger team to take down Stonebanks." So he meets up with Kelsey Grammer, who shows him recruits that could possibly be Expendables, and he hires them, and they're a younger team, and they go to take down Stonebanks. There you go, you got Expendables 3. So when the movie opens, there were a few things I was thinking about. In the opening scene of the movie, spoiler alert, they go to break Wesley Snipes out of a prison train to stop him from going to prison because they need his expertise in knife throwing and slashing and shit like that. And I just can't help but wonder, I was like, this is the exact same scene that opened the Expendables 2 when they bust out Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I'm thinking to myself, this is all they got for an opening to an Expendables movie? The action scene was so underwhelming. Like, they're just in a helicopter shooting guys. Like, it's a whole different thing if they're on top of the train taking down everybody. But they're in a helicopter taking down people. Wesley Snipes is on the train taking down everyone and being a badass. He's the only one in that opening action scene that's a badass. Another thing, Antonio Banderas. Why the hell would Stallone want him in an Expendables movie? You know why? So he can be fucking annoying for the whole movie. I get that his character is that comic relief type of character. Yes, he was funny at first, but when he's dancing and to Spanish music and won't stop running his mouth for 10 minutes, you're just like, okay, get him the fuck out of here. I've never seen anybody in the Expendables movie be that annoying, and it just made me hate him so much. Here's an example, final action scene, he's like killing thousands of dudes with a machine gun, which is pretty damn cool. And then in the next scene, he's like singing and dancing to Spanish music. I'm like, dude, you are not the El Mariachi anymore. Desperado is over. Even the Expendables acknowledge he's annoying. Speaking of the Expendables team, the new team that Barney hires in the movie, awful. They're just bad actors, and that one bad actress who used to be an MMA fighter but is now an MMA fighter turned actress like Gina Carano. I think her name is Ronda Rousey. Yeah, they're all bad actors, and one of them was in Twilight, so I have no respect for him. Yeah, and this young Expendables team takes up the middle of the movie. It's a good chunk of time, too. So the old Expendables team is benched for the middle of the movie while this asshole new Expendables team tries to take down Stonebanks with Stallone, and yet they fail. Wow. What do you expect? They fail. Holy shit. He thought he could win if he had a younger team, but no, they failed. And why would you bench the original Expendables team? If you're gonna do that, like mix new blood with old blood, at least like have the old guys train the young guys. It was only Stallone training these young guys. I was like, you serious? So half the movie is just the old team, and then the other half is the new team? That's ridiculous. This is the Expendables. That's unacceptable. The purpose of the Expendables movie is to grab all the 1980s action stars, put them in a modern action movie in the 2010s, show them to a new audience, and just create havoc. Just be a throwback to 1980s action movies, but that's not what the Expendables movies are. The thing about these movies is that Sylvester Stallone takes them way too seriously when they shouldn't be taken too serious. For instance, Machete. Look at Machete. Nobody takes that movie seriously, but it is so dumb, it is so good. That is what the Expendables should be and should have been. Another thing, the final fist fight between Mel Gibson and Sylvester Stallone. It was shit. They both punched each other like 3 times and fell to the ground, and they saw a machine gun, and Stallone and Gibson are going for the machine gun, and Stallone pulls out a pistol and brutally shoots Mel Gibson to shit for like 5 minutes. I'm just like, okay, so that was a shitty fight. I understand it's PG-13, but you could have done better. Mel Gibson should have tried to roundhouse kick a knife into his chest like Van Damme roundhouse kicked a knife into Liam Hemsworth's chest in the second one. Tossing that all aside, though, let's look at something else, though. Mel Gibson. Probably the best part of this movie. You can hate the guy, you can call him a dick, you can call him an asshole in real life, I don't give a shit. He's still a good actor, he even makes bad shitty movies look kinda good. And he looks like he hasn't aged since Lethal Weapon 4 came out, so he's still in pretty damn good shape. Yeah, I understand Mel Gibson's now 58, so he's got gray hairs and wrinkles all over his face. But comparing his looks to Stallone and holy shit, Harrison Ford, he looked like he was 90 in this movie. It makes Mel Gibson look like he's literally 30. Also, the old Expendables team came back for the final action scene. I was like, thank fucking God, they are back. They teamed up with the young Expendables team, which would have made sense in the middle part of the movie. It would have made sense for the whole movie. Come on, Stallone. It would have made sense for the whole movie. But, hey, at least they came back. They helped the younger team. They helped Stallone take down Stonebanks, or tried to take down Stonebanks. So, there you go. They were back. Speaking of the final action scene, it was actually pretty damn cool. There's tanks and shit, motorcycles, thousands of men in Mel Gibson's army, helicopters trying to kill each other. Arnold Schwarzenegger, best part of the final action scene. He literally quotes Predator twice and Commando in the span of like 10 seconds. It was awesome. Like he just drops a, "Get to the chopper!" And then he did it again and I laughed again. And I'm like, yes, finally, they're acknowledging that these guys are in other action movies. About fucking time. I still believe he should have said, "Give me the Turbo Man action figure!" You know, Jingle All the Way. Alright, never mind. And now that I've seen this movie, I thank God that Bruce Willis was not in this movie. Because like Mel Gibson, people think he's a dick in real life, and the truth is he's a dick on film too. He's an asshole. I'm glad he wasn't in this movie. Watch Looper, or especially the last Die Hard movie, which was fucking awful, by the way. Just look at his demeanor on the screen, and you can tell he does not care about acting anymore. He's just there because he's Bruce Willis, and he thinks he's awesome. No. That's the definition of a dickhead, okay? That's not the definition of a guy who's a dick in real life, like Mel Gibson, but is really a good actor on film. No, that's just being a dick in real life, being a dick in movies as well. So, yeah, he did not deserve to be in this movie. Luckily, he got replaced by Han Solo, who looked like he was 90. But I will say, Harrison Ford was a cool addition. He was pretty much Bruce Willis's character. It was a different character, but it was pretty much taking the spot of Bruce Willis. They even make an in-joke that it's like, Stallone's like, "There's supposed to be a guy named Trench," and Harrison Ford just goes, "He's out of the picture." So it's kind of tongue-in-cheek. It's like, yeah, he's out of the picture. He's not part of this mission. I'm your new handler, but he's also not in this movie because Bruce Willis is a total asshole. So yeah, I like the addition of Harrison Ford. I thought he did a very good job. Alright, now to set the record straight about the rating of the movie. It is a PG-13 movie. Yes, the first 2 were rated R. Get over it. It's just a rating, yeah, so what? It's edited, there's no blood splats. I mean, maybe one blood splat here and there would have been fine. Maybe some other, profane language would have been okay too. But everybody who's an Expendables fan wants crazy action, like Michael Bay explosions in these movies, and pervasive language where they say like 300 F words in 0.2 seconds. Yeah, here's a lesson for you. You can't do that with every movie, especially Michael Bay explosions. Nobody wants to see that shit after Transformers. And the only reason why this movie was rated PG-13 is because the second one didn't do that well at the box office, so they were hoping to attract a wider audience to make more money off of Expendables 3. So there you go. Stop bitching. If they do make an Expendables 4, I wouldn't be surprised if it's PG-13 again, because, like, in the case of this not making that much money, they'll probably make that one PG-13 to make more money. And now that this one was rated PG-13, if they continue to make more and more of the Expendables movies, I don't think they should go back to rated R. It's like, okay, the fact that the Expendables movies were once rated R, that ship has sailed. They're PG-13 now. Unlike Die Hard, where the first three were rated R, and then it was a newer audience, so they're like, okay, we're making a fourth Die Hard in 2007, we gotta make it PG-13 to attract to a wider audience, but no, now that everybody's bitching that that one was PG-13, we need to make a shitty, awful fifth one with a shitty writer who wrote Hitman in the A-Team, and now we're gonna make it R again for the sake of it being R. No, please don't do that. And in Die Hard's case, you can always make them PG-13 and save the one F word you're allowed for PG-13 movies for the phrase yippee-ki-yay motherfucker for John McClane. Make sure when he says that, it's Bruce Willis playing John McClane, not Bruce Willis playing douchebag Bruce Willis, being douchebag Bruce Willis in a douchebag Bruce Willis shitty, awful action movie. Alright, back to the Expendables movies, enough of that rant. If I had to rank the Expendables movies, I'd say, is this better than the first two? Hard to tell. The first one was disappointing, the second one was disappointing, but yet it was everything the first one should have been, so it was kind of satisfying. But this one's plot's just kind of stupid, so actually, yeah, I would say this is the worst Expendables movie. Even though this one had some good things going for it, like the final action scene was pretty awesome, Mel Gibson was a very good villain, I always like Mel Gibson. Harrison Ford was a welcome addition. Arnold Schwarzenegger quoted 2 of his movies in the span of 10 seconds. You still have the shitty plot that was written by the guys who wrote Olympus Has Fallen. You have the shitty action scene that rips off the beginning of the second movie. The middle of the film focuses on the young Expendables team that nobody cares about and they're just not good actors. And we can't forget about Antonio Banderas not letting go of his desperado role as the El Mariachi and trying to be El Mariachi in The Expendables. I won't lie when I said even though it was a PG-13 Expendables, it was toned down a lot, I did have fun with the movie. Like I said, I like Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson is good in anything he's in, but like if you're watching all 3 of these back to back, you might find yourself getting bored, just like anybody who watches all 4 Transformers back to back, but I don't know why you would do that. So in that sense, it's a fun movie, but it's just kind of at the same time. So I mean, I would say it's just worth a one-time watch. It's nothing special. I mean, none of the Expendables movies are. And like I said, Stallone takes these movies way too seriously when they shouldn't be taken that seriously at all. So, your favorite cameo in an Expendables movie, or your favorite Expendables movie, period. Whichever one you want to answer, drop me a comment in the comments section. And as always, for the latest reviews on music, movies, video games, and TV shows, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Yo, Adrian, I'm lucky. I'm sorry, that's a bad Stallone voice. I'm sorry. It's not as bad as my Schwarzenegger voice, though. Get to the chopper!